Cheers, beauties! Well, here I am, a 57-year-old virgin at Pier Medical Aesthetics in downtown Hermosa Beach for my very first experience in medical aesthetics with Dr. Doug Mest. Want to know what goes on behind the scenes? Well, so do I. Come on, let's go.
Hi, Catherine. Dr. Mest will see you now. Good luck.
Okay, time to turn the clock back.
Aging is bone loss, fat loss, fat resorption, and then the skin changes over time. Okay, so we can talk about all this at length whenever we're filming. That sort of thing,
right.
You know. So a bite down for me. Bite down again. Sometimes with the TMJ, it's your masseter here, not here. That's the issue. So yeah, you have definitely some bone loss here that we can do some sculpture with and get you back some cheekbones. These lines here will improve a little bit with sculpture.
Okay.
We may have to put a true filler in there. The good news is we have some new ones that are more mobile. They stretch.
Oh, nice.
So we used to have ones that were like stiff, and sometimes when they move, you're like, oh, look, you're seeing the whole thing
I'm
moving.
sure it's a learning curve with this stuff, yes.
Well, it's just, we have other, when we first did, I've been doing this 20 years. When we first started out, we had one filler. So it was an easy discussion. You want this or not? Now it's like, okay, well, in this area here, so we have ones that look like a cubit jello. They're sort of stiff. We have ones that look like a booger that stretch. You know, so that's the point of it. In different areas,
perfect.
We have different things for different areas. So they sort of specialize. And I have all of the different products. I'm not wedded to one.
That's a great part of the story to tell too, because I think if you haven't tried it or don't really know what you think there's one thing, and you see other women the way they look and they're so overfilled and you're afraid of it. So
and that's one of the biggest fears. People go, I don't want to be overfilled. So with sculpture, it's hard to overfill. I think a little goes a long way. I'd rather undertreat you. A perfect example of that is your under eye area.
Yes.
So I will take only one syringe and split it between the two sides, and we go for a softening.
Perfect.
Of that effect.
And that has been like lifelong. I mean, I've had this since I was a child, you know.
So we're not doing anything for the actual fat pad, we're just hiding the transition from the trunk wall.
Perfect.
Okay.
And I know Hermosa is also really good because one of the areas is up there, the drooping, and I think that's a pretty universal thing too, that the droopy eyes you call it. Exactly.
So all of those things are also the fat pad herniates over.
Yes.
So the ligaments that are sort of tighter when we're young all loosen up too. So fat tends to herniate over the ligaments in the face, giving some of so it's contour irregularities, not just a line. Well, we still treat this a little bit, but it's one of the last areas we treat. We usually treat all kinds of other areas, trying to get the normal contours back. That helps with the bone loss that's occurred. Exactly.
And then what about lasers? Because I saw that you, I mean, obviously you invested in all the different things, but am I a candidate for that? Because what I want to do is, obviously you're the expert, but tell women all these things that you have and what they would be appropriate for. And like you said, so I educate at the same time as tell my own story, but there's someone else who might.
Right. So in general, we can tell more of a story because but for me personally, I don't like to tell anybody, it's like, ooh, do you like this ugly line here? Because it doesn't matter.
And then you start looking at it.
So I prefer when patients tell me, like, you know what, this hollowing under my eyes bug me. What can we do? Oh, we can do this, this, and this. Okay. So lasers is just one wavelength of energy. Mm-hmm. That's all that it means. It's the specific term. We have different wavelengths that target different things. So if we're going after pore size, or we're going after wrinkles, etc. And the latest thing now is something that Cindy does great, which is combination therapy. So we hit it with the laser, which is the heat-based energy. We have a mechanical injury, which is the microneedling. And then
is that the city specialist? With the PRP.
And then we do the PRP to have it heal. So great about this field is it keeps evolving, which is really great. So for you, it depends. Like you have some makeup on, so it's hard to see. But if you told me the pore size really bothers me, so that's the top layer. So you can think of this as what are we addressing? Are we sort of remodeling the canvas? Are we stuffing the canvas some? And we can do making the canvas more taut by putting some fillers in, or stretching the canvas a little bit by tightening with thermage. So there's a couple of different avenues to it. And I guess my biggest caveat is we never want to overdo anything. So sometimes people go, hey, Voluma is approved for mid-face and it lifts up the jowl. So therefore they put all this stuff in their mid-face to lift this part here, and all of a sudden you get these cheeks arrive before the patient does. You're like, okay, that's not found in nature. Yeah. So that never looks good. Mm-hmm. Even something is like your lines here, if we just attack them with a filler without looking at the whole face, you would get very snouty here, and you go, okay, the lines are gone, but I'm not
like the way
I'm not any happier, I'm not younger, whatever. So we look at the whole face from top to bottom, and we look at it from inside to out. Right. Okay, so there's bone loss that's occurring. So you look at the deepest layer, so that bone loss occurs, so therefore the skin that hangs along the mandible hangs more than it did before when it was taut. The fat pads that used to be up here have now shifted down and rotated down. And so we need to reposition them back up. And then we finally get to the surface of the skin. So some patients just need the bottom part and their skin is pretty good. Some patients need all of it. Some people need a little bit of all of it. And so we like to address it in that way.
I like your approach because, like you said, it's like, rebuilding a building. After 57 years, there's been some, you're kind of reconstructing it, but little by little by little, and watching that process and watching yourself evolve. I like this. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit here.
And the house analogy is a great thing. Because I always say, sculpture's like the 2x4s.
Yes.
We put the structural support in. If you have a house and it's 57 years old, and you go, you know what, I'm just going to paint the outside of it. Okay, it might look a little bit better. So you're painting the surface, you're lasering the surface, but that's not the only thing.
Exactly.
You might need some new doors and windows, okay? But you also might need some structural support because the window's tilting, so that's your underlying. So all of those things need to be looked at.
Awesome. I'm in, sign me up.
All right, sounds good. All right, let's switch.
Okay. Nice. So just let me know if it gets too cold, okay?
You bet.
And then frown down again. And then reach outside the pressure. And get your maximum raise of your eyes. Turn. A big smile. Good. Then look up for me.
We'll get a nice Journey soundtrack going too.
Yeah.
Do we have to
Just
pay
perfect.
I know, right? I'm done. Sorry.
The right
Yeah.
journey?
You actually, if you have anything on social media with a teeniest bit of music, you do.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
So we can do the Cine Special can be done anytime. It can be even done the same day as the Botox.
Oh, okay, good to know.
Oh, I thought it was 24.
Good, never mind. It can't be done the same time as Botox.
That's right, yeah. I can do the sculpture, can be done at the same time. Okay.
So, so we're all done.